Eddie, as you are traveling the country to all these different speaking engagements, specifically college speaking engagements, do you find that people have different relationships with the ideals that MLK expressed?
Oh, absolutely. They have different views of who Dr. King actually was. A lot of it is kind of focused, of course, around the MLK holiday. And many folk kind of come to him through the lens of the I Have a Dream speech, the March on Washington of 1963. And so the kind of full breadth of Dr. King's witness often gets channeled, kind of, focused in that to that moment. And so people don't really see the arc, the long arc of his life in some sense. And part of what I try to do in those moments is to bring Dr. King down to the ground, to tell stories about, his depression, to bring in the later King, who's talking about the triple evils of militarism and materialism and racism. I'm fond of saying, there's this Q&A that happened at the 68th Rabbinical Conference, and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel introduced him, and it was during the Q&A, and someone said, well, what can I do to help with the Poor People's Campaign? And Dr. King pauses and he says, well, we have to admit that America is a racist country, that racism still occupies the throne of this nation. And people are like, that's Dr. King? And so the idea is to make them human so that people can see that not only Dr. King, but Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, these were ordinary people who were called by history, and they just simply answer the call. And when we are called, their heroic effort exemplify or demonstrate that we can be heroic too. Not that we're not like them, that they're godlike and that they're above us, and they exhibit courage in ways that are unfathomable by everyday ordinary people. No, 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 no. They are human examples of what human beings are capable of, which means what you're capable of. And so the idea is to bring these folk, and particularly the figures of like Dr. King, and for me, because Malcolm and King were so important, to bring them down to the ground so that I don't get lost, right? So I don't disappear, right? And my voice can be found and heard, if that makes sense.